What if the reason that you haven't manifested true love isn't because you haven't found the right person, but because the seeking of love out there is somewhere that it can never be found? The greatest love you will ever experience is with the divine. And when you seek that first, everything falls into place. And that comes from the Bible, Matthew chapter 6, verse 33. Seek ye first the kingdom of God, and everything shall be added unto you. And what are those things? Peace, purpose, health, abundance, and true love. In case you don't know me, my name's Deborah. I'm a transformational healer and intuitive coach. And I want to talk about how to manifest true love. And I don't think it's going to be the way you thought. This may change your perspective. So, as a transformational healer and coach, I have come up with 4 categories that you may be fitting into. Now, if you relate to this, it's not because you're broken or anything is wrong. It is just something that might help you navigate and clear out and start to manifest the person for you a healthy relationship. But first, you start to develop the relationship with yourself. So the 4 categories are the seeker. The seeker is where you're seeking love on the outside. The majority of the world is doing this. And you think that the love that you are seeking is on the outside. The second one is the wounded heart. That category is very much me, where you've been brokenhearted and you feel like love isn't safe and you protect yourself. The third one is the timekeeper, which I also call the wanting to be separate. So the timekeeper has a time clock and feels like they've wasted time. This could be you, wasted time, and also thinks that everybody else has it except for you. And that's really practicing separation. The other one and the last one is the awakened creator, which is what you would like to be. And that is where you put the divine first, you release anything and everything that's in the way, and you become the love that you are seeking. I'm sure you have heard other creators, content creators, that talk about choosing yourself, loving yourself, and becoming the love that you are. It sounds very cliche, and most people don't know how to do it. But the way I have experienced it is that if I put the divine first, then I am the love. It's not that I'm becoming the love, I just am experiencing the love, because really our true nature is beingness, awareness, consciousness. That is the energy that I tune into as an energy healer for my clients that's running the universe. And if you have a relationship with this, it is the most intimate partnership you could ever have. And most people ignore it through seeking on the outside and also ignoring the divine by distracting ourselves with watching TV, doom scrolling, Netflix, alcohol, drugs, sex, shopping, whatever it is. We all are ignoring the divine. So to turn to the divine, to me, is the absolute first step. I want to share with you some personal stories that I think might help you. I had a limiting belief that men didn't choose me, and it came from my relationship with my family and my father, especially. That was the first man in my life, and I felt like he didn't choose me. He wasn't interested in my life emotionally. So I came up with a limiting belief that men don't choose me. So what happened when I grew up, that played out, and I would choose men who wouldn't choose me. And over time, I started to realize that this was a mantra that was playing, and I was able to start releasing it when I met my teacher. The second story is ignoring my intuition and slowly going into fear. And that happened even though I was on a spiritual path that I started when I was in my mid 20s and had a guru, I still do. I started to really kind of go away from my intuition. And as I was growing in my 20s, 30s, even 40s, I started to get more involved in the world, and I was really feeling like the fear of not finding someone and being alone. And so that fear really overtook me. And then I got involved in a relationship for a very long time that was on again, off again. And I really held on to trying to make that work and really wanting to have that love with a human being, coming from not feeling that divine love that I wanted with my family, and trying to get it in this person, trying to seek it in this person and trying to control and manipulate. And this person also was controlling and manipulating. And it was very much a trauma bond. So I was coming from fear, not my intuition. And eventually I got cancer, breast cancer. So I've said this and shared this in some of my other videos. It wasn't just that relationship, it was everything that led up to it. It was my fear. It was my sense of lack, feeling separate, not feeling the love that I wanted, and ignoring the divine. The way I was able to start to heal from that, not only did I do, Western medicine and even alternatives, but I really got in touch with my emotional life and did the emotional clearing through energy healing work and release work with my teacher. And so now I am cancer free, but I also know that there was a deep emotional component. And now I have a much stronger, deeper relationship with the divine. And truly, when you have that relationship with the divine, you will feel the love and the joy and the happiness that you are seeking in another person. And then you're not trying to squeeze that love out of someone else, begging them to choose you or love you. And that is a lot of freedom. So I also was a timekeeper, and I also thought that I had really wasted many years with this person. I got older, and I didn't waste any years. Actually, I was working through my wounds with that person. And then when the relationship ended, truly ended, that's when I did the most healing. And a lot of times when people come to me in a session, they've come out of a very toxic relationship like that, and they are on their knees in so much emotional pain. And sometimes, and usually, that is their biggest breakthrough and their biggest blessing, because it brings them to the divine. Because it's not just the relationship, it represents everything that they've gone through all the way up to that point. That's been my experience, and it was my biggest breakthrough. I went through the dark night of the soul. It was not a fun experience, but I am out of it, and my life is unrecognizable. Most people are looking for the divine by trying to manifest a person. They want to feel loved, chosen, they want peace, they want to feel accepted. All of those very human needs and wants and emotions can be fulfilled with the divine. And it may come as a surprise to you because, yes, when you're in a relationship that's good and healthy, there's nothing better, okay? And it doesn't mean that you can't have that if you seek the divine first. It's just that when you do have that relationship with the divine, you're actually learning how to love yourself. You're choosing yourself. Your whole energy changes and you become a magnet for everything that you want, just like that Bible verse. It is so true. And I'm saying this from experience, not from just coming from my mind. So, how do you really get to this place? What I do in my sessions and my tagline is release, rewrite, receive. So I have you set an intention. If you come from a painful breakup, or let's say you want to manifest a partner, or you want to manifest more money, financial abundance, I have you set an intention and I have you start to release what is in the way for that intention to manifest. And this is really powerful because if you are feeling like you've been seeking love and trying to manifest it and it's not working, it's probably because you have these subconscious beliefs that are running the show. And so when I work with you, I'm helping you to identify those subconscious beliefs. I do it through the energy healing in the session, but I also have you write things down on your own and in session. And once you become aware of these subconscious beliefs, that's half the battle right there. And people always say, okay, now I know. And let me tell you something, those subconscious beliefs are repetitive thoughts that just keep looping and looping and looping. And the divine is intuitive, and the divine is so different than that. So you are becoming aware of these repetitive thoughts that are really making you suffer, maybe making you feel like you're not good enough, you're not lovable, something's wrong with you, you're not chosen. Because going through a painful breakup can really bring up those limiting beliefs. I also help you identify the stories and the traumas that you might have accumulated in childhood and even adulthood. And it's so amazing to really release all that energy that's been locked up in your energy body. Eventually, those repetitive thoughts will disappear, they will collapse. So, the second part is to write a new script. And that's the fun part. You start to write what you want because up until that point, you probably lost yourself in a relationship or lost yourself seeking a relationship, and you don't even know sometimes what you want. So, you start to give your mind a north, and you start to really realize and talk and write what you want. And that's so fun because then you're thinking of what you want, not what you don't want, and then you start to write a new script. Then you receive. That's the fun part too, where you become uh, a new version of yourself and you're in a new timeline. So that's when you start to become the love that you seek. And that's where the magic starts. You will start to see your other relationships in your life transform. And even if you're in separation from someone, when you start to do this deep work, this deep dive, will have an effect on that person, even if you're in no contact and you never see them again. You are actually helping them to transform as well. And then you transform your other relationships, and just life becomes a lot lighter, happier, peaceful, magical. Become the love that you seek, and love will start to recognize you, and the divine will start to recognize you, and the divine will chase you. It will be really cool because the divine will start to surprise you. So I invite you to really choose yourself and choose the divine and develop that intimate relationship. And I also invite you to come and join my transformational group. Everything is in the description of this video. Release anything that is in the way for that love to come through because you have never lost it. The divine within you is perfect health, perfect wealth, perfect love. And when you have a relationship with that, it will never be gone. And the only reason why you feel it's not there is because of those limiting beliefs that you've been holding on to for a long time. So I invite you to join my community, and thank you so much for listening to this video.